A story that shocked two entire nations. 5 people from both countries died under mysterious circumstances, leaving the police stunned when they discovered that these individuals from 2 countries were somehow connected. So let's begin this puzzling and chilling case. In 1983, there was a young woman named Parvez who lived in Punjab. She was widely admired for her outstanding academic skills and her impressive command of English from a very young age. Parvez dreamed of becoming a teacher. Teaching wasn't just her career goal, it was her passion, a dream she held on to tightly during her college years, but life didn't go as Parvez had hoped. Her father had different plans for her future. Instead of supporting her dream, he arranged her marriage to a man from a Sikh family who lived in Canada. The man seemed well settled, and her father thought this match would secure a good future for her. However, Parvez was heartbroken by this decision. Becoming a teacher was her only desire, and marriage wasn't a priority for her. Parvez couldn't go against her father's wishes, and reluctantly agreed to the marriage. Leaving everything behind, she moved to Canada with her husband. At first, life seemed hopeful as he treated her well and she adjusted to her new surroundings. However, his true colors soon emerged. He began pressuring her to work, prioritizing her income over their happiness. Parvez started working on a mushroom farm. Far from the life she had imagined. On July 20, 1985, she gave birth to a daughter, hoping this would bring peace, but even 6 months later her husband demanded she return to work, forcing her to take a factory job. In the midst of this hardship, Parvez became pregnant again. Despite her fragile health and the ongoing challenges, she continued working in the factory. Later in 1988, she gave birth to another daughter. Life continued its exhausting cycle for Parvez with little support or compassion from her husband. Tensions were running high in Parvez's home as she and her husband often found themselves in heated arguments. One day things took a dark turn when her husband lost control and physically assaulted her. This shocking incident pushed Parvez to take a stand. She courageously went to the police and filed a complaint, determined to seek justice for the pain and abuse she had endured. Her actions led to serious consequences for her husband, who was sent to jail for a week because of the domestic violence complaint. After his release, it seemed like her husband had a change of heart. He began treating Parvez with care and kindness, trying to mend their broken relationship. Life started to feel calmer. But this peace didn't last long. Out of nowhere, Parvez's health took a sudden and drastic turn for the worse. She began experiencing intense pain all over her body, pain that doctors couldn't explain. Alongside this, she was plagued by severe headaches that left her feeling helpless. Desperate to find relief, Parvez started taking a lot of painkillers, hoping they would ease her suffering. As days turned into nights, Parvez's pain became unbearable. She would scream out, suddenly her cries echoing through the neighborhood. One fateful day, Parvez experienced an unimaginable electric shock-like sensation that shot through her teeth, spine, arms and legs. Her body twisted uncontrollably, bending in unnatural ways, almost like a bow being drawn. The horrifying scene sent chills down the spine of her second daughter, who watched in terror as her mother writhed in pain, overcome with fear and desperation. Her daughter ran out, calling for help from the neighbors. A group of them rushed in to find Parvez in a grotesquely contorted state, writhing on the floor. The sight was chilling, leaving everyone frozen with horror and helplessness. When news of her condition reached her husband, it shattered him. Seeing Parvez in such unbearable pain and despair moved him in a way nothing else had. For the first time, he appeared genuinely broken. In a desperate attempt to help, Parvez's husband rushed to the kitchen, frantically bringing her a glass of water, while the neighbors tried their best to steady her convulsing body. Without wasting another moment, they decided to take her to the nearest hospital. At the hospital, a team of doctors gathered to assess Parvez's alarming condition. However, they were left puzzled. Her symptoms were baffling, and no tests or examinations could reveal the cause of her excruciating pain and convulsions as her condition deteriorated. Further, the doctors made the grave decision to place her on life support in an attempt to keep her alive while they explored every possible treatment option. Despite their best efforts, the medical team reached a heartbreaking conclusion: they could do no more. On February 3, just 3 days after being admitted to the hospital, Parvez's battle came to a tragic end. She passed away, leaving behind a void filled with unanswered questions, grief and lingering remorse. Parvez's sudden and tragic death left both her family and her husband's relatives drowning in grief and confusion. They struggled to understand how her health could take such a devastating turn. When asked, her husband shared a troubling detail: Parvez had been suffering from severe headaches and was taking medication prescribed by a doctor. He feared these medications might have triggered the mysterious symptoms that ultimately claimed her life. What really happened to Parvez? Were her symptoms a tragic reaction to the medication, or was there something far more sinister behind her death? Let's go back to Parvez's story, or more specifically what happened a year and a half after her death on June 23, 1988 in the quiet town of Hamilton. Ranjit Singh lived a happy life with his wife. It was a normal evening like any other. His wife was in the kitchen washing dishes. After finishing the dinner work, Ranjit was sitting in the living room relaxing on the sofa and watching TV. Suddenly, a loud and terrifying scream broke the silence of their home. Startled wife ran to the living room, her heart pounding with fear. What she saw made her freeze in shock. Ranjit's body was bent in strange ways, his face twisted in pain, his arms and legs were moving wildly as if he was fighting something no one could see. His cries of pain filled the house, making fear grow even stronger. She stood there not knowing what to do or how to help. What could have caused such a horrifying episode? Could there be a link to Parvez's strange and tragic death? Her husband Ranjit, she realized his weight was too much for her to carry. Overwhelmed with panic, she quickly called emergency services. Within minutes an ambulance arrived and was rushed to the hospital. Doctors worked quickly conducting a series of tests, but the results left them puzzled. Ranjit's body showed no visible injuries or signs of any serious illness, with no clear answers. They speculated that he might have suffered a heart attack, though they couldn't confirm it with certainty. Distraught and unsure of what had truly happened, she informed Ranjit's family and close friends, including his business partner Sukwinder Singh. Sukwinder was deeply shaken by the news. He had placed immense trust in Ranjit, not just as a partner, but also as a close confidant. The shock of Ranjit's sudden passing left him heartbroken and worried about the future of their shared business, which now hung in uncertainty. The questions surrounding Ranjit's death only added to the growing unease, leaving everyone grasping for answers. After Ranjit's funeral was over, and the family had said their goodbyes, life began to move forward, though slowly and painfully. Sukwinder Singh, Ranjit's trusted business partner, stepped in to take charge of managing their business, but as he took on this responsibility, a surprising twist in their professional relationship came to light. Ranjit and Sukwinder had earlier taken out a joint life insurance policy worth $2 lakh. This policy had a very unusual condition: if one of them passed away, the insurance money would go directly to the surviving partner. They had made this arrangement to ensure that their business wouldn't suffer financially. If either of them died in an accident after Ranjit's sudden death, the insurance payout was meant to go to Sukwinder Singh, as he was the surviving partner. However, there was a process that had to be followed before the money could be handed over. The insurance company required a full investigation into Ranjit's death to ensure there was no suspicious cause or foul play involved. An officer from the insurance company was assigned to the case. This officer's job was to examine every detail surrounding Ranjit's death and prepare a thorough report. Only after the report was submitted and approved would the insurance company release the $2 lakh payout to Sukwinder Singh. Now the story takes a shocking turn. Cliff Elliott, the life insurance company's claim investigator, arrived at Sukwinder Singh's house in Hamilton to verify the details of the insurance claim. As part of his routine, he carefully reviewed all the insurance documents. Everything appeared to be in order: no irregularities, no missing signatures, no errors. It seemed like a straightforward case, but as Elliott sat in Sukwinder's living room, something unusual caught his eye. On the wall hung a picture of Guru Nanak, framed beautifully and placed with care. At first glance, it seemed like an ordinary photograph common in many Sikh households, but something about it struck Elliott as oddly familiar. His mind raced back to another case he had handled more than a year ago. It was the mysterious death of a woman named Parvez who had passed away under strange circumstances. While investigating that claim, Elliott had noticed a photo of Guru Nanak, the same size, the same frame, and the same color, hanging in her house. Yes, you guessed it right. Parvez, his husband, was none other than Sukwinder Singh, the same man who had claimed the insurance money after his wife's mysterious death, was now at the center of another similar case. Cliff Elliott sat frozen for a moment, the weight of this revelation sinking in. 2 deaths, 2 massive insurance claims, and one man at the heart of both. This couldn't be a coincidence. Elliott found the situation deeply suspicious, convinced that something sinister might be at play. Elliott reached out to the Hamilton police and shared his findings. He explained how within just 1.5 years, Sukwinder Singh had lost 2 People very close to him, his wife Parvez and his business partner Ranjit, both under mysterious circumstances. In both instances, Sukwinder had received a large sum of insurance money, raising serious doubts about his possible involvement. The Hamilton police were immediately intrigued. The situation struck them as highly unusual and they agreed that it warranted further investigation, and what they found next was something no one could have imagined. While looking into the deaths of Parvez and Ranjit, the detectives discovered that there were 3 more mysterious deaths. The Hamilton police decided to appoint 2 detectives to look into this case. They started fresh, carefully going through everything again. As they investigated, they found something strange. Sukwinder Singh had been traveling to India a lot over the years. He often went there around the time of the mysterious deaths. This made the detectives even more suspicious. To get to the bottom of it, the detectives contacted the Punjab police in India. They worked together to plan a visit to India to dig deeper into Sukwinder's past and activities. When the Indian police were contacted, it was revealed that just 9 weeks after his wife's death, Sukwinder married another woman from a village. After this marriage, he told people he was returning to Canada but never went. His main goal behind these marriages was to collect large dowries. Sukwinder continued traveling between India and Canada, taking advantage of women and their families for money. Shockingly, he didn't stop with 2 marriages. In every case, he promised the brides a luxurious life in Canada and demanded huge dowries, focusing more on money than anything else. Chilling pattern. Sukwinder's 3rd wife had reportedly been in good health, with no prior issues, yet she too met a sudden and mysterious end, with 5 deaths occurring within just 17 months. The case raised alarming questions about Sukwinder involvement. The investigation took a sinister turn when the burial site of the twin boys was excavated and their remains were sent to the Toronto Forensic Science Centre for analysis. At the same time, forensic reports from the earlier deaths of Sukwinder's first wife and his business partner in Canada were reviewed. The findings exposed a horrifying truth: all the victims had been poisoned using the same lethal substance. Tracing the source of the poison, investigators identified a specific tree, whose seeds Sukwinder used to create a deadly mixture. He converted these seeds into pills which he disguised as health supplements or strength boosters. Under this facade, he deceived his victims, giving the pills to his business partner as a remedy for physical weakness and to his wife as a treatment for her illness. This revelation painted a dark picture of Sukwinder's calculated and cold-blooded actions, leaving investigators determined to bring justice. Sukwinder had instructed his second wife to give the pills to their twin sons. He convinced her that the pills would strengthen the babies and improve their health. Despite this, he was not punished in both countries. In 1997, the law finally arrested him. After intense interrogation, he broke down and confessed to his crimes. After a lengthy trial, Sukwinder was sentenced to 25 years of life. Sukwinder passed away in a jail. While some reports claimed he died cancer, others suggested a sudden illness. The case attracted widespread media attention in both India and Canada. Greed has made him to do this.